All right, what is up, Sooner fans, Sooner haters, everyone out there? If you're in right now, you love you some college softball, you love you some collegiate athletics. It is a Tuesday night, and all on the Canady front is seemingly quiet right now. There's rumors, there's speculations, there's a lot of different thoughts that are out there, but we're here to talk about it for the next several minutes here as we are sitting and waiting like a lot of other fan bases, like a lot of other coaches, what's going to happen next with NiJaree Canady. So still some softball going out there. We got someone watching the Spark right now, which I absolutely love. I think I saw Riley Boone leading off tonight. Jada back in center field. She's been playing some first base. She was playing first base early on in the season, but you're right. Great seeing the gang back together with the Spark. They've like half their lineup is full of OU softball players, so it's been fun. All right, so just let me go ahead and get to this. Let's start with NiJaree Canady. We're going to hit a lot of OU softball topics. If you watched the video yesterday, you probably have seen this, but apparently we know 2 road series that OU softball is going to have next year, and oh boy, kind of feels like the SEC is going to stick OU with the toughest schedule in the conference. But let me get to NiJaree Canady and an article out on 3. Danielle Lawrie, great pitcher in her time. She does some analyst work now, and she has thoughts and opinions on NiJaree Canady's situation, what eventually is going to happen, all that. And I'll just kind of read some of the quotes that she had via on 3. Now, I don't think I have to tell any of you just how good of a player that NiJaree Canady is. And yes, like I always do, I will say, with or without NiJaree Canady, I think OU is a real contender next year, not just for the SEC, but for the national championship. But she is the reigning player of the year, so it would be big news if OU got the reigning national player of the year with a 0.73 ERA, 337 strikeouts, over 230 and 2/3 innings. So here's what Danielle Lawrie said. She's one of the greats. Quote, in my honest opinion, she's probably one of the top 5 best pitchers that I've ever seen in person, and I played the game a long time. I can't say that I've seen that type of power and just the spin. It's funny, right? Because you think of those types of pitchers like Monica Abbott and Kat Osterman. I put NiJaree up as one of those power pitchers like Monica, but her spin on a ball at that velocity is so rare. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that NiJaree Canady is better than Monica Abbott. I'll let you decide that. I asked Gray yesterday who's the best SEC softball player of all time. He said Monica Abbott. Kat Osterman's the best player in Texas softball history. But that's what we're talking about here. Top 5 pitchers of all time. If you want to take anyone's opinion for that, it's Danielle Lawrie. So that's what we're talking about here, about how elite of a player she is. And guys, what have we been saying for 2 years now about Stanford? Well, Stanford can't hit. Stanford's not any good offensively. If they're going to win a game in the Women's College World Series, they're going to have to win a game 1-0. They pushed Oklahoma a couple of years ago, won some games, had to beat Texas twice, but made a nice little run last year because of NiJaree Canady. She's that good. She really is that good, and whatever team she ends up with, going to change that team for better, for sure. Okay, so here's what she said about the potential contender, or the contenders that are out there. Let's start with Oklahoma. Danielle Lawrie said, quote, listen, when I think about her maybe going to Oklahoma, the only thing that would steer me away from that, if I was in her position, which I'm not going to speak saying anything that I'm NiJa, but let's just say that was me. I don't really want to go to a program that lost 10 seniors. I want to go to a program that could maybe win its first national championship, that could be a part of winning its first. Okay. I think that's a little bit misleading by Danielle, and I respect her opinion, no doubt. But that's almost phrased to me as, yeah, OU lost 10 seniors. They're not going to be just super talented next year. Oh, well, I don't know about their chances to win a championship. That's where I disagree with Danielle Lawrie. I think that OU, again, maybe they don't have the best roster if they don't get her, but they're going to be highly competitive next year. I don't have any doubt about that whatsoever. So the 10 seniors that are lost, okay, well, let's focus on the players that they have coming back who performed at a very, very high level, the players that you do have coming back. The number 1 freshman class in the country, and so far, I think the best portal class in college softball. And actually, I think that losing the 10 seniors could actually be a reason why NiJaree Canady would want to come to OU. Let me explain about that. I already said that I think that even though they lost 10 seniors, they'll still be talented enough to win a championship. But think about it. She's not just joining Jada and Kinsey Hansen and Tiare Jennings and Riley Boone. She's not joining a team that's already won multiple national championships. She'd be looked at as one of the leaders, one of the ringleaders of a team that's probably going to be pretty young next year. Talented? You betcha. Absolutely. But I guess I just don't like. We've been talking about this for, 2 weeks now? Over 2 weeks? And I've never thought it was a negative that OU's losing 10 seniors. I think that we've talked about that potentially being a positive because she could be looked at as that piece that really helps you get that 5th championship. So I don't know. Maybe there's some real negative recruiting going on out there saying, you don't want to join the program who's won 4 straight. You want to go somewhere else and win a championship. And maybe that happens. I don't know. But NiJaree Canady would be a major part of OU pushing for another national championship. The only potential negative that I see, and I don't see it as a negative, I just know what other people say out there, is just what I said. Well, you just want to, why don't you go somewhere else? So don't go to Oklahoma, the best program. You're the best pitcher in the transfer portal. Why don't you go somewhere else and try to win a championship? And maybe that doesn't work, right? I mean, it's Patty Gasso, it's Jen Rocha, it's Oklahoma, it's Loves Field, it's OU fans, it's all that. There's just so much to sell there. But unless someone comes up with an overwhelming NIL deal, I still think OU's got the best pitch of anyone out there. Because, look, maybe someone will just throw a stupid number out there. Maybe someone will just throw a crazy absolute number that no one else is even interested in trying to match. Maybe that happens. But I think OU is going to be very competitive. And I think they have been very competitive when it comes to this NIL deal. If someone wants to just offer an obscene amount of money, then maybe you just say, here's our offer, take it or leave it. But I think OU's got a very healthy NIL offer on the table. I think they have their offer on the table. It's like, hey, come here. You could probably be the ace and help lead us to another national championship into the SEC. So I'm whatever happens here, maybe she goes to OU, maybe she doesn't. There still seems to be a pretty quiet confidence on OU's side that they feel like they're in a very good spot right now. But whatever the decision is, I think you've got to feel confident that OU really shot its shot. They put a really good pitch moving forward. And of course they did, right? Like, look at everything they have going for them as a program with facilities in the SEC. We're going to wait, and we're hearing that it's probably going to be after July 8th, after Team USA is done playing in Japan. But I think you've got to feel good about where OU's at right now. And I do. If I'm guessing right now on July 2nd at 8:28 Central Standard Time, what do I guess? I'm going to guess OU gets NiJaree Canady. I'm not 100% about that. I haven't been told that it's a done deal or anything. Like, there's probably still more of a process that's taking place. Maybe there's still more bids being out there. But if you're asking me right now, I think OU gets NiJaree Canady. And I would guess most people nationally would probably project that as well. But there are teams in the race. There are absolutely teams in the race. And if you didn't catch the video yesterday to welcome OU in the SEC, let's go. I'll play some clips from Gray Robertson on what he said and who we can expect to see OU play on the road year one in the SEC. Robert says, do you think Patty will do Oh, yeah. I mean, the only question is how many exclamation points will it be if NiJaree Canady does indeed commit to OU? Because apparently you got to pay attention to the exclamation marks, but how many will it be for NiJaree Canady? I guess we'll see. Oklahoma probably going to have the toughest conference schedule in every sport. Well, it's OU in Florida in football. I think OU men's basketball got a pretty tough draw as well. I don't remember exactly what OU women's hoops got. I think they're at LSU. I think I remember, are they at South Carolina as well? But you could be right about that. I know LSU comes to town in baseball, but the way that we only know 2 opponents for the softball, but there could be a very real scenario where OU's got where they've got the toughest opponents in softball as well. Bama is, man, to be honest, Florida without another pitcher is not that scary yet. Yeah, you just know those environments are going to be insane. You just know those environments are going to be crazy. Tia makes her spark make debut tonight. Yeah, it's awesome. What that happened yesterday, I think, when they formally announced that. But I just love how many former OU players, and it's smart by them, trying to get people involved, trying to get people out to the park. What do? Sign all the local players. It's brilliant. Sooners lost a bunch of seniors in 2019. Look what happened the following full season. OU lost a bunch of seniors in 2015. They won the national championship in 2016. So I brought that up several times. I agree with you. Ella, Cassidy, and friends will continue to dominate. You can't put a price on the experience those two freshmen especially got in the Women's College World Series. It's one thing to be on a team that won a championship. It's one thing to be in the lineup when the team won a championship. It's another to be a big reason, a major reason why this team was able to win 4 consecutive. Because let's be honest, there were times during the regular season, and not that Ella and Cassidy didn't have, tough games from time to time. But there were a lot of times where these 4th and 5th year seniors that we're talking about maybe weren't playing their best softball. And there for a long time, it was like, hey, the freshmen, I don't know if you want to say that they're carrying this team, but they're doing more than their fair share early on in their career. So to be in the lineup, to play on that big of a stage, to contribute the way that they did, I'm only expecting better things moving forward. There's a lot of pressure that comes with that, right? The pressure was on the 4th-year players last year. Now everyone will be looking at Ella Parker, Cassidy Pickering as kind of the leaders of next year's team. So that's a little bit different of a space, but I don't really have much doubt that Ella Parker and Cassidy Pickering can fill the role and do the things that need to be done on next year's team. I'm excited. Love to have NiJaree, but Sophia Bordy is for real. Her stats are staggering. We'll just be just fine and dandy. Totally, John. I'm with you on Sophia Bordy. And I'd love to have NiJaree too. They'll be just fine. She's a reigning National Player of the Year. She's pretty good. But yeah, you'd like to get these young players as much time as possible because they're the future of the program. Tori and Patty, we trust. So I don't know how active you guys were yesterday, day one, the SEC celebration. It was awesome. I'm sure some of you got down to Norman. I thought it was great. I didn't make it to the drone show last night, but the drone show looked awesome. I've never been to a drone show before, but after seeing that, it's like, if a drone show, if the opportunity ever presents itself, maybe I need to go to a drone show. That looked pretty cool with all the designs that they had, SEC logo. That was sweet. But I bring up yesterday, the breakfast. Maybe some of you were at Toby Keith's in Bricktown for the breakfast. And somebody asked Patty, like, hey, how many welcome to the SEC texts have you gotten by your colleagues? Zero is what Patty said. That ain't a surprise. The SEC has already been tough enough. And now you're going to add the best program in college softball. And Texas, I guess, they're pretty good too. But Oklahoma's the real prize here when it comes to softball. Young team or not, everyone knows in that conference what they're getting in a softball program moving forward. So as of yesterday morning, and maybe that changed throughout the day, none of the SEC coaches apparently had texted Patty, welcome to the league. But would you have? When you know what's coming into the SEC, life's about to get a whole lot more difficult. Cough, Texas Tech cough. Yeah, that's in reference to if someone wants to throw out a crazy NIL deal. Maybe that's the latest rumor that Texas Tech has entered the chat, apparently. And I don't really know what Tech has to sell. If you've been in Lubbock, Texas, it's a pretty awful place. West Texas, not a place that you want to be. And the Texas Tech fans, boy, they're just not nice people, especially those students. But they got a lot of oil money. And if they feel like they can change the trajectory of their program with the new coach that they have, actually I like the new coach a bit, then you throw a bunch of money at NiJaree Canady and see if that could happen. But sure the NIL deal would be crazy, but I don't know. I don't think that she's going to go to Texas Tech. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I don't know. August, only one chance to play for Patty. That's true. Texas women's basketball, the only team playing South Carolina home and home next year. TRA got her first professional hit tonight. Nice. Corinna Rich, Hanson, Jennings, and Keeney will be on staff next year. That could be a card to lay down for Canady as well. I'm glad you brought that up because how about this? Hold on, let me get here. You guys see this? Oh, I know you guys saw that. I mean, come on, Kinsey. You got this, Kinsey. Let's go. The greatest OU catcher of all time, and hopefully the next transfer portal edition in the circle right there. I mean, Kinsey Hanson's out there, and I know that Florida's got representation out there and other schools do, but, I mean, if you had to pick someone, forget being the best catcher in OU softball history. I think that she is. Brian will tell you that she's the best player in OU softball history. But in terms of, like, former players who you'd want to recruit a high-level portal player, a few come to mind. I think Lauren Chamberlain would be really good. Who else do I think? I think Sid Romero. She's kind of doing it now. I think that she'd be really good. I think Jada Coleman would be fantastic at it. But Kinsey Hanson got that dog in her. You know, like she's got a way to lead a team. Like she's a catcher. Catchers are normally kind of the leader of your squad. Kinsey's going into coaching. Like you said, she will be on the staff. I've always liked the idea for OU's chances that Kinsey Hanson is out there with her. And yeah, Kelly Maxwell. Kelly Maxwell can talk to her and share her experiences and all that. And I don't hate that either, but I don't know. Like, I like Kinsey Hanson as, hey, here's how it is. Here's how it is, NiJaree Canady. Here's why you need to come to OU. I got confidence. And I bet if coaching is really her long-term thing, she's going to be one heck of a recruiter. Kinsey, I think, will be an ace recruiter for sure. I thought Coach Ricketts would have welcomed Patty. I know, all right? Former player. Like, come on, seriously. But she probably knows, too. I mean, OU's faced Mississippi State here recently. You know that she has to nudge her a bit. Why wouldn't she? She can speak on a lot of being there for as long as she's been. I mean, seriously, though. Again, having Jada down there would be fantastic. Like, Jada, as energetic as she is, I'm sure she could persuade NiJaree Canady as well. But you may have, from last year's team, you may have the best two players in Japan and on the team with NiJaree Canady and Kinsey Hanson for all the reasons that I already said, and Kelly Maxwell for the obvious reasons because she got a lot of hate when she transferred to OU. And guess what? I think NiJaree Canady will probably get some hate if she transfers to OU. A lot of expectations for Kelly Maxwell will be a lot for Canady. You have one player who's gone through it at your position, who is Women's College World Series MVP. She can speak to that experience, and so can Kinsey Hanson. Not that those two players are obligated, right? I mean, they're going to play for Team USA. That's a dream come true. Like, go live that, be present in that moment. They're not obligated to go recruit NiJaree Canady. But do I think that they'll probably throw their pitch out? Yeah, I think that they probably will. Ricketts is the best player in Oklahoma history. We seemingly always have this conversation in the chat, which I don't mind. Like, just keep the chat going. I think it's great. You guys want to argue that? I've done a Mount Rushmore of OU softball history a couple of weeks back. That was a lot of fun. More off-season content as well. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, but keep those comments coming. Appreciate it quite a bit. Okay, I've got some other stuff for you. Let's go to, this is Gray Robertson yesterday. He's the color analyst on the Alabama softball broadcast. And I'm going to replay a couple of these here. Let me take that off the screen. Here's Gray just talking about NiJaree Canady first.
Obviously, this is one of the biggest stories transfer portal wise, I think, that we've seen across all college sports in a really long time. Like the Jordy Ball thing, we knew once we heard what was happening, we knew where she was going. This is actually a legitimate race, an arms race, if you will, to see who will get the best arm in college softball. And I'm fascinated to see where it goes because it will legitimately change the trajectory for any team that she goes for.
So Gray thinks, hard to disagree with that. Here's more.
Credit, she has talked to everybody. She has listened to everybody. She has had discussions, as far as I'm aware, with schools who maybe nobody thought would be in the mix. And I don't know where she's going to go. It sounds to me like she's going to wait until the Japan series is over and then start to really fully make that decision.
So, yeah, after the Japan series is over. I do like that he said that, hey, she's been listening to everybody. I'm like, well, yeah, dude. With as much NIL as reportedly is out there, like Texas Tech throwing their hat in the ring and everything, you'd probably be listening a lot too if all of these NIL offers that are reportedly taking place. Like, yeah, you're out there on the free market. This is your chance to make the most money you've ever made playing softball. Then, yeah, don't rush the decision. Let all the offers come through here. Let the additional offers come through here. And I don't think that I don't think the decision will be made solely on NIL, but guys, it'll be a big part of it. I mean, we're crazy to think that NIL is not going to be a major part of this decision. And you can hate on her for that. You can hate on her family for that, but it's just the reality of the situation. She's going to make more money the next 2 years than she probably ever will playing softball. And this is the system, and they're going to use it to get a good chunk of change. It's in the rules. It's not illegal. We'll see. The whole key to this may be Jim Rocha, one of the best pitching coaches of all time. Yeah, and I mentioned this a week back or so. Patty's great. Patty's the GOAT. There's no but coming after this. The only additional thing I'll say is, while Patty is the GOAT, she's the greatest head softball coach of all time. I don't need her to pass Carroll for the most wins. I don't need her to win more national championships than UCLA. Like in this era when the sport's the most difficult, she's won 4 consecutive. She's won 8 overall, highest winning percentage. She's the greatest of all time. But, and I think that she would even say this, yes, she's great, but having Jen Rocha and having JT Gasso as her 2 main assistant coaches, go ask a football coach. And I know it's a little bit different because they've got more assistants, but a coach can be great on their own, but they need really good assistants. Like with the demand of this program, with the media demands and everything else that goes on with OU softball, Patty can't do it all by herself, and she doesn't do it by herself. There are things that JT Gasso does that a head coach normally would, and probably the same thing with Jen Rocha as well. So yeah, Patty's great. She's the GOAT. We love her. But she's also got the best hitting coach, and she's also got the best pitching coach out there. And again, I'm sure that she would tell you that as well. But when you give credit to this program, like you're saying, Robert, don't forget to give credit to Jen Rocha. And, you know, one of the things that Jen Rocha can say, one of the things that Patty Gasso can say is, look, here's how we develop talent that's on the roster. Look what Kelly Maxwell, and she was good when she was at Oklahoma State, but look how we helped take her to the next level when it mattered most. Things like that matter. NiJaree Canady wants to win a national championship. I know that NIL is a big part of this, but she wants to win a championship just like anyone else. She wants to realize her full potential. And who can do that better in college softball than Jen Rocha? If someone has an answer, please fire it in the comments, but I don't know if anyone can do it better than Jen Rocha could. There would probably be a conversation like, what schools are you looking at? And what are your thoughts between Maxwell and Hansen? Probably. Now, I don't think that it's, hey, you need to go to OU. Hey, you need to go to OU. Like, I'm sure that's just more of Kinsey knows what she's doing. I trust Kinsey on this. Like, try to be, I mean, they're playing together. So you got to form, your pitcher and catcher, you got to form a relationship there. So it's not like, hey, time, she goes out to the circle. So we still feeling good about OU? I know we got a runner at first, 2 outs here. It's a 2-1 game in the 5th, but we're still feeling good about OU, right? Kinsey knows how to handle this. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. Bentley, thank you. Appreciate that. No, seriously, that means a lot. That never gets old seeing. Here to have fun, talk some softball, try to fire as many comments as possible because I want you guys involved as well, but thank you for that. Not if they get the pro league together, fingers crossed for that to happen. Well, yeah, that's a good point. I hope this is not the most, I think this probably will be the most that she's ever going to make playing softball, but I hope it's not. And I hope it's not because I want to continue to see this sport just boom. Because how fun would it be? Because I've been going through withdrawal since the Women's College World Series a few weeks ago. Am I the only one? It'd be awesome if you get through Oklahoma City and then bam, the greatest college players that we've seen for the past few years got a league of their own that is really doing well. So I think it probably will be, but I hope it's not. I hope the sport continues to grow. And I brought up this question. You know, there are sports that in the ratings the past few years maybe haven't fared all that great. But look at the ratings of the Women's College World Series. They're insane. And it feels like they can just continue to go up, 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 up. In fact, what sport in America, and you can look at this in terms of participation, I kind of look at it in terms of just popularity and ratings. But what sport in American sports has grown more over the past decade than college softball? College softball's booming. Pickleball's become a big thing. There's a lot of people that are active in pickleball now. But in terms of just sports on television, I'm not telling you that it's more popular than college football or the NFL. Like, I say some stupid things from time to time, but I don't say something that stupid. But just from where it was 10 years ago to where it was today, I mean, it is playing games on ABC. Playing games on ABC, right? I mean, this sport has just grown, and I don't think it's going to stop growing anytime soon. Hey, guys, and guess who's helped lead the way for all that growth in the sport? Did someone say Oklahoma in the back? Did I hear that? Yeah, you're correct. Oklahoma and Patty Gasso has helped lead the way. As long as she doesn't go to Texas, I'm good. Yeah, I mean, yes. But I think you know where I'm going with this one. How funny would it be if we run it back from a few weeks ago? Texas got the big offseason edition. They got NiJaree Canady. Mike White, they're the preseason favorite in the SEC, preseason favorite to win the championship. Oh, everyone's picking Texas to finally break through and win one. But then they see big, bad Oklahoma in the championship series again. And guess what happens? What always happens? Texas can't beat OU when it matters in the postseason. I don't want her to go to Texas either. But it would be funny if you faced her in the championship series and OU beats Texas again with a young team. Oh, boy. Hanson's calling pitches for Nige and the national team. Yeah, they're going to develop a relationship for sure. And Kenzie's on the staff next year. I mean, it matters. It does. Have they played together on Team USA, Hanson and Canady, that is. Let me check in on that. Did Canady play last year? Do they have a relationship before? They may have, but still. Like, she's going through, and I'm sure that they do have some sort of a connection or relationship, something, but it feels a little bit different this time, does it not? The fact that Canady is making one of the bigger decisions of her life. I don't know if this decision is more important than the decision that she made coming out of Topeka, Kansas, out of high school to go to Stanford, but this is a pretty big decision, and to have Kenzie right there, it's big. You're definitely not the only one. I've rewatched every game in the postseason multiple times and just about to start last year's games. Respect. What's been your favorite one to watch? Maybe this is an easy answer. Is it game 2 against Texas? Maybe it's game 1 against Texas where TRA said, nah, let's just go ahead and let them know what's going to happen here. I'm just going to hit her 2-run bomb in the first. Is it the walk-off against Florida when it didn't look good there for a few innings? There's a lot of great options there. How do I watch these international games? What network? Let me check in on that one for you. I'll get that. I've tried very hard to find stream info, but no luck so far. Okay. All right. Both of them went to Japan last year as well. So we'll keep you updated on NiJaree Canady and what's going on there. UCLA game was fun to watch. Maxwell pitching the best game of her life. I don't remember if I said this or not. So I live in like the Midtown Oklahoma City area. And my wife and I on Saturdays go to a coffee shop called Coffee Slingers. Maybe some of you have been there before. I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but Saturdays, whatever, it's like a cool spot. Let's go. And someone walked in a full UCLA uniform. Like full UCLA uniform. She had like kind of the what do you call it, like the batting practice top on, but the pants, the socks, UCLA's colors. There was no mistaking it. She played for UCLA. She was with a couple of coaches. It was Maya Brady. Maya Brady was standing that day. OU played UCLA, standing right behind me in line with a couple of assistant coaches. I believe it was her birthday that day, so maybe she was getting a birthday coffee. I don't know, in Oklahoma City, but it's like, oh, wow. They're about to play in a few hours. I'm standing in front of Maya Brady. And Kelly Maxwell dominated her, and I don't think Maya Brady got a hit that day. So if you want to credit me for being a jinx, have at it, fine. But I saw her that day. I was like, what are the odds you see Maya Brady in the biggest game, before the biggest game of the year that OU is going to play? But, yeah, that was a fun one. National television audience, and Kelly Maxwell just took it to another level. Man, she took it to another level. That was fun to watch. All right, let's talk a little SEC here. He was Gray Robertson with me yesterday, and he throws out a couple of hints as to where OU could be playing road games at next year.
I've seen a little bit of schedule, and what I can say is that I know that when Oklahoma goes somewhere, it's a big deal. And, Texas, the crowd was awesome in Austin this year, but these first road series for OU are probably going to be some of the biggest in those schools' history. on their campus, and we know they're coming to Alabama. We've talked about that. Murph has been very open about that. I believe Tim Walton has confirmed that they're coming to Florida this year, and the others that I've seen, I don't want to spoil anything, but they're fan bases that are quite energetic.
Okay. So we've got 2 series apparently that we know about, and they're at Florida, and they're at Alabama. Now, this isn't, I don't think, going to be the Alabama team that had Jackie Traina that beat OU in the Women's College World Series Championship Series. But it's still going to Alabama. It's a tough place to play. And like you said, like Oklahoma is always going to be the biggest draw for everyone. Like you're going to go to the SEC where they really care about softball. And a lot of these places, including this year, might have their best home attendance ever. So whatever Alabama is this year, and they'll be talented, you'll probably get their best shot in Tuscaloosa. You get the best shot from their fans as well. And we know what Florida's going to be. Rothrock might throw 480 pitches that weekend. But by God, she's probably going to start a couple of games. So according to Gray, and he's saying that the head coaches are saying it. So, okay, you're at Bama and you're at Florida. That's 2 of the SEC series that we know. And you know what, guys? You know what I say to that? Freaking bring it on. I think scared. Think this program's scared. Think Patty Gasso's scared. Forget it. If we're going to go to the SEC, the big bad SEC that's the best conference right now, let's do it the right way. Let's do it. I don't need to play some of these lower-rung teams in the conference on the road. Let's go to Florida and go win a series. Let's go to Alabama and go sweep a series. Let's go. And it kind of sounds like there's going to be other difficult road series as well. Send them to LSU. Send them where you want, whatever. I'd like some fun home series in Norman for my own personal enjoyment and for the enjoyment of other OU softball fans, but this program don't back down to anybody. In fact, when this program, when people start to doubt it, or when the road really looks like it's about to be difficult, that's when this program steps up and plays their best. Like, this program has a toughness and resolve that I wish every single sport on campus had, including the football team. And I like what a lot of sports are doing on campus, but just when you count out this team or doubt them a little bit, that's when they show up and play their best. So if we're going to go to the SEC, let's go to the SEC. Let's go to Gainesville. Let's go to Tuscaloosa. Want to send them to Knoxville? Whatever. Let's roll in there too. They're probably going to hand you the toughest schedule the SEC has to offer. Let's go win the thing. No excuses then, right? You got a big target on your back anyway. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. God, I can't wait. I can't wait. Surely they would send Texas to Norman, right? I mean, you were in Austin this past year, and we know how it's worked, in the Big 12, back and forth. I mean, the SEC doesn't have to do that. I mean, they saw the crowd in Austin last year. Maybe they'll send OU back down to Austin. Whatever, bring it. But at least give us an entertaining home series or two. I would guess Texas is at home, but I don't know that for sure. But I bet that apparently OU's playing Florida and Alabama. Okay. I bet they play Tennessee. I bet they play Texas. I bet they play an LSU or Arkansas. I mean, they're going to get the draw. Like, this sport is up, 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 up. And now that you've added the best program and the biggest draw by far of anyone, heck yeah, the SEC is going to put them on that stage. Heck yeah, the SEC is going to put Oklahoma against its best teams. But again, I say bring it. Let's go. Because Patty ain't scared. Heck, if anything, forget Patty being scared. Patty loves a challenge. Patty was getting tired of 5-inning run ruling everyone in the Big 12. She probably loves this. She's probably like, yes, give us the best that you have to offer. Slot it how you think the SEC is going to be next year, and we'll take the best teams out of the conference. She probably digs it. She's probably all about it. But there's other good teams in the league. Arkansas's really good. Missouri had a good year last year as well, right? I mean, the SEC, it is a good softball conference. There is no denying that. Auburn, obviously, has had some good years recently. But he said energetic fan base and could be Tennessee or LSU. Like, I don't think Alabama and Florida will be the only 2 notable road trips that they take. I could absolutely see a Tennessee or an LSU. And when it said energetic fan base, I thought of LSU immediately. But maybe Arkansas too. Sooners got screwed in 2012. Yeah, it was a rain delay. No rain delay, they win that one. No rain delay, they win that one. Bama and Florida on the road is 100% confirmed by the head coaches. Bama has not been swept at home in forever. Would be a really good time for OU to do it in the payback of 2015. Yeah, God, that one still irks me. That OU team had to go on the road like that, and Big 12 didn't do him any favors at that point. I mean, people who are around kind of know the story. It's still kind of crap that OU had to go to Tuscaloosa in that spot before even Oklahoma City. If they come to Mizzou, dinner on me, Missouri Sooner. Down. I don't know if there's a good restaurant up there, Missouri Sooner. If there is one, I'll trust you to take us to one. But all right, I'll hit you up on that one. But God, I'm dreading going to Columbia or Como, as they say. Como. That's really what you call your town, Como. That's so dorky. I can't stand those people. Robert, the toughness comes from the mindset of the coaching staff decision of courage to have sacrifice and discipline. Patty will accept nothing less. Well, yeah, what's the saying? Team takes on the personality of their head coach. Personality of a head coach is they ain't scared. In fact, bring on the toughest challenge possible. I mean, how awesome is it that, okay, what's OU going to do game 2 now? What's OU going to go do game 2? Are you start Kelly Maxwell again? Are they going to go with Kirsten Deal or Nicole May? No. They're going to go with Carly Keeney. They're going to throw 5. Where they throw 5 different pitchers, right? You had Keeney, you had Monticelli, you had Deal, you had May, and you had Maxwell. Yeah, first time ever, right, that 5 pitchers have pitched in a championship game. And Patty's like, whatever. I got enough courage and confidence in my team that we'll go win. And that's another thing, too. You said courage, sacrifice, discipline. Also throw in confidence. Confidence is contagious, man. I mean, it is. Again, you take on the personality of your head coach. And if your head coach has enough confidence, she does, have enough confidence, like, okay, I'll throw 5 pitchers out. We're still going to beat Texas. We're still going to go win a game. And they did. Like, confidence, like, man, I just can't say enough about the makeup of this program. Head coach and everything. They're awesome. LSU game last season was close and sold out. Yeah. That was a midweek game, right? They just played that one on the midweek, but they're going to sell out everywhere they go. I mean, that's been going on. Like, teams that have traditionally, and these are some of your smaller schools, and I think Iowa State did this as well, I want to say, but some programs that you go to, be it a conference series or non-conference game or just kind of like a, kind of a round-robin festival tournament, whatever you want to call it. There's some of these places that have never charged before, don't normally charge for softball games for entry. Oklahoma comes to town, they charge, and they sell out the place, and it's standing room only. All right, I got it. I'm writing this down, Missouri Sooner. I'm not going to let you forget about that. I know I'm coming up there for football. Patty welcomes a hard schedule. I'm just telling you guys. I'm telling you. Like, there are some football coaches that will kick and scream about the difficulty of their schedule. Patty loves it because growth happens with the hard schedule. It does. And it's going to be baptism by fire for some of these young players next year. And Patty says, bring it on. That's how we get better. Because would you like to win the SEC next year in year 1? Yeah, of course. Of course you'd like to go into the SEC and win it year 1. But, guys, if I could only guarantee you one thing next year, what would you want? You'd want the national championship. You'd want the 9th overall championship back to back to back to back to back, 5th in a row. That's what you'd want more than the SEC title, more than anything. And that's how Patty sees it, is yes, we're going to try and we really want to win the conference. But it's all about getting ready. It's all about being at your best when the postseason rolls around. And how do you do that? Well, you go play a road series at Florida. Go play a road series at Alabama. You'll play a road series at Tennessee, LSU, Arkansas, wherever else they send them. So I think that's how Patty Gasso was looking at it, especially with a team that's going to have a lot of newcomers. Like, let's go through this together, right? Let's not play a super soft or a super easy schedule. Let's go through some trials and tribulations together. It's okay if we stub our toe from time to time, but as long as we learn and we get better throughout the year and we feel like we're battle tested and we get to the end of the season, feel like we're playing our best softball, that's what matters. That's what matters. So I love it. And guys, it's more entertaining. It's more entertaining for us with this tough schedule. Because look, is it fun to watch OU go on the road and in 3 games play 15 overall innings against Texas Tech and they win by 10-1, 11-0, and 13-0. It's fun to make fun of Texas Tech, yes, all weekend long, and see OU just dominate and hit long ball after long ball. But at the same time, you're playing Tech or you're playing Iowa State or you're playing KU. No disrespect to those programs, but it's a little bit tougher week to week in the SEC. It's going to be more entertaining for us on a game in, game out basis in this conference. I can't wait for that. It's going to be fun. I'm going to miss beating up on these Big 12 teams for sure, but I'm really going to enjoy beating up on these SEC teams. I wish the 22 team was going into the SEC. They would have embarrassed that league. They are getting us at the right time for them with us having a brand new team, basically. I mean, maybe, John. I mean, I agree with you. I would take the 22 team over this team right now for sure. But what if this freshman class is everything we think it is and more? That's high expectations, and I'm not putting those expectations on them. But they were ranked pretty high for a reason. And we think this is the best coaching staff, best this, all that, yada, yada, yada. What if they come in? It's like, oh, well, a group of seniors just left the program that was historic, but they're going to have a freshman class coming in that's maybe the next historic class that we're looking at. It's OU softball, so you really can't doubt anything, right? I mean, it could happen. So, yeah, that 22 team was just a freaking monster. And arguably, not just the best team in OU softball history, but maybe the team in college softball history. Like, they're in that conversation. We had those conversations after that year, 23 team as well. But it would be fun to roll in with a brand new team and go ahead and own the league. We'll go to Eco Lounge in Jefferson City, hole-in-the-wall place with great burgers. Oh, well, hey, I am, who doesn't like a good cheeseburger? Well, maybe people out in California don't like Lincoln Riley. But I love a good cheeseburger, love a good smash burger. So great burgers, you had me. I didn't even need to read the rest of that. I just needed to see great burgers. Ricketts pinch hitting for the Spark tonight. What a sight. We got like our own OKC Spark reporting going on here. I love this. This is great. I love this a lot. Tough conference schedule will just make them better for the postseason. Exactly. Exactly my point. Exactly that. Is you want the championship more than anything next year. What's going to get a team full of newcomers in this best spot to another championship? Tough schedule. This could be the toughest schedule that OU's played in quite some time. It's the toughest conference schedule they're going to play in quite some time. And we'll see the full extent of the non-conference and how they handle that. But this could very well be OU's most difficult schedule in a long time. Good. Bring it. Because guess when they face the stiffest competition? Oklahoma City. Yeah. And how have they handled that recently? Pretty well. And I know they get to play those teams in Oklahoma City. Well, you'll get to play some of those teams in Norman, but OU's fared pretty well on the road over the years as well. It's going to be like a pot of neck bones. And again, they have 3 grad assistant coaches helping them through overtime. Exactly. Always come back to that, but it's a great point. And not just any 3 grad assistant coaches, 3 grad assistant coaches that, performed at very big moments last year and did some really incredible things. 22 or 23 team for the best team ever. I agree. I don't need more entertainment. LMAO, I need more runs. That argument is lame. I'm not in it for 10 extra innings. I'm in it for history and dominance. What? That argument is lame for more entertainment. Come on. More run rules. Maybe they do run rule in the SEC. I'm not going to put a restriction on them that they're going to play 10 extra innings or anything like that. Maybe they just go win this thing in 5 like they have been. But come on. This program isn't about playing the Texas Tech and Iowa States of the world. OU sets the trend. Everyone's trying to catch up to them. I think good competition is only more entertaining for me, for us, and it's only going to make this program better. It's the same argument for football. Football is not the top team. OU softball is. But whatever the best version of OU football, whatever the best version of OU football is, I think they'll rise to that level in the SEC. Doesn't mean they're win 10, 11 games every single year. Doesn't mean that they're going to win more games they did in the Big 12. But things got stale for OU football in the Big 12. That's what I believe. Ain't going to get stale in the SEC. Challenge is there. And if things get stale for OU softball in the Big 12, didn't really look like it. They kept winning championships. But there'll be a little bit of a heightened awareness going in the SEC. Like you want to show them what it's about. Means nothing to me who we play. The end results are the same. I just think it's way more fun to beat Florida than it is Texas Tech and Iowa State. It's more fun to beat Tennessee than Kansas. That's just me. It's still going to be really fun to beat Texas. And it'll still be really fun to beat Oklahoma State when you see them as well. But looking forward to beating up on these fools out there. Yep, it was Mike White that lobbied the NCAA to allow the run rule in the WCWS after OU drubbed the horn 16-0. The irony is rich. The Mike White rule. It's what we call it around here. The Mike White rule. 2023 schedule was something. OU beat 21 of the top 25 teams or something crazy like that. 23 schedule felt like that was maybe the toughest that they had ever played. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Obviously, you had the Big 12 schedule. You played UCLA and Mary Nutter. Destroyed them. UCLA was ranked number 1 for a week. OU dominated that one. Feels like they always play Washington earlier in the year. Feels like they always play Duke early in the year now. So maybe you played Washington and Duke in that first week. But you played a ton of SEC teams. The LSU game on the road was referenced earlier. You played that one. Feels like maybe you played Mississippi State a couple of times. Did you play Auburn and Kentucky and OKC as well? That 23 schedule was something for sure. 22 is by far the best hitting team ever. Pretty good. Jocelyn Allo, not bad. Mixed in with some of these seniors that we had. Explain the Mike White rule. I'm kind of new to it. Okay, well, I mean, I call it the Mike White rule. I don't know if that's the official name for it or not. But if you'll remember 2 years ago, when OU and Texas played in the championship series, you had the run rule up until the championship series. That was the rule at the time. And OU made it hurt in game 1 of that championship series. And whereas any other game, it would have been a run rule, there was no run rule in the championship series. So Mike White had to sit there and just take it. And it was beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful. It was amazing. But they redid the rule. I call it the Mike White rule. So there is a run rule now in the championship series. So since Mike White got beat so bad that they changed it, I call it the Mike White rule. It is always fun beating Texas. It's never a bad day to beat the Longhorns in any sport. But it's more fun to beat them in softball right now than it ever has been. Oh, that was the dream scenario in the championship series. Let's just bask in that moment and relive that moment. That it felt like it was a collision course of OU and Texas to meet. They did. And guess what happened? OU didn't just win the championship. They won it in 2 games. And that championship series wasn't really all that close, guys, was it? I mentioned the first inning home run by Tiare Jennings. That was kind of the sign to OU fans, to Texas fans, to everyone. A lot of people picking Texas to win this championship series, but nah, same old thing's always going to happen. I could sit here and relive the championship series all night long. When a dominant conference has most of the teams in the playoffs, it's boring and not interesting. I'd like to see the contrast of different programs from across the country. So what are you saying here? When a dominant conference has most of the teams in the playoffs, it's boring and not interesting. I like to see the contrast of different programs from across the country. Well, I think OU – so what are you saying, Tubi? Are you saying that you want to see OU play more teams than just the SEC across the country? I think that's what you mean. I think they've done a good job of that, if that's what you mean. They played Florida State in a non-conference game recently. Of course, they played a bunch of SEC teams, Big 12 teams, of course. You've seen Northwestern recently in the non-conference, Washington in the non-conference, UCLA in the non-conference. You've seen Duke in the non-conference. I think OU's kind of spread the wealth on who they've played. Not a whole lot of games against Arizona in the non-conference recently. Arizona doesn't seem to be the program that they were with Mike Candrea, but I feel like as an OU softball fan, you get a pretty good, and this is one of the good things about the sport, is that you kind of see the elite of the elite quite a bit across the country, and I like that. I like that. OU beat all other Power 5 conference champions in 2023, UCLA, Tennessee, FSU, and Northwestern. The Maya Scott play, hang off first base, really killed them. I still don't know what she was thinking. Good luck, Avery Hodge at LSU. Nice play on that one. Now, it did help that Kelly Maxwell was like, hey, throw it to first. But I brought this up, and here we are going down memory lane of the championship series. Hey, that's fine. But I brought this up a couple of times. It was almost like a no-look throw for Avery Hodge. And that's not as easy as they made that play look. That could have gone wrong. Really wrong. Texas just pulled within 1 run at the time, maybe. If that ball gets past first base, that goes up the line. Scott's standing on third base. I mean, that's not a good spot to be in. But it was executed perfectly, and they got her out. You want to see different programs across the country, then they need to get better. Yeah, I don't need OU to play. Who's a good example here? Who do you want to pick on? I don't know, a random Big Ten school. I mean, if they're not any good, then like what I want to see. Here's what I want. I want to see OU play the best. And I think they've done a very good job recently of playing the best. Obviously in their conference, out of conference, whatever. OU wants to play the best. I think they played the best. I'm pretty happy with the scheduling. I'm not bored watching this team. And I guess to the original point, throw them up against anyone, and I'm going to watch OU softball, but I'm not bored. I like to see them play against elite opponents. I'm in the minority who thinks that the SEC has vastly underperformed in the Women's College World Series since they have taken softball seriously. With all the money they have thrown at it, they have 3 natties in 25 years. It's a fair point. Now, I think OU's been in their way quite a bit for that, right? I think OU has been a big deterrent to that, but OU and Texas were in the championship series. You had OU and Texas 2 years ago. Before that, it's been OU and Florida State a couple of times. So not even just not winning it, not maybe making the championship series as well. Two Beers right. You say Tech and Kansas, LOL, but OU's been playing OSU and Texas, who have been 2 of the top 4 programs. It makes no difference to play the mid. I don't know what the real argument is here. Like, I'm not arguing that OSU and Texas hasn't been entertaining, but they just go and dominate Tech and Kansas, and that's fine. I'll go watch that, but I'm excited to see OU play in the best conference. I don't really know what the argument is there. There's a reason you don't see Big Ten teams in the postseason. That conference is an absolute joke. Northwestern's did a nice job. Michelle Gascoigne out there, pitching coach. Root for her. Made it to OKC 2 years ago, right? They got a nice program, but yeah, outside that, Big Ten's not doing much, and I don't know if that's going to change much either. SEC is a deep conference, but not necessarily having the best teams every year. Well, OU's been the best team. Great content as always. So where do I get that awesome OU SEC shirt you wore yesterday? So we just had those at the station. They just gave them out, and they gave them out across campus as well. I don't know where you get them, to be honest with you. I know at some stores, like Balfour of Norman on Campus Corner, they were giving them out after you had, like, you purchased an OU SEC shirt, and they gave you that shirt for free. Maybe they're selling them online. I know there's a lot of OU SEC content or OU SEC merchandise, and most of it looks pretty cool. OU has been playing the best. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes, the average team is a little bit better in the SEC, but not the top. Okay, I don't even know what we're arguing about anymore here. It's going to be fun in the SEC. All right, that's what I'll say. It was fun in the Big 12. They dominated the Big 12. I like playing Texas and Oklahoma State and Baylor at times, but the SEC is going to be fun. The environments are going to be a lot more fun in the SEC, and I think that they're going to bring some fans to Norman as well. I think when Alabama probably going to come to Norman in 2 years. We'll see if Tennessee comes to town this year or LSU or whoever, but you'll probably see more visiting fans here as well. It's going to be a good time, and I think OU's up for the challenge. Before I get out of here, speaking of SEC Day, what'd you guys think of this? This, of course, is what Joe Castiglione said yesterday. I will tell you without reservation, every coach that we talked to was excited. And you know what? The ones that aren't here anymore. This is Oklahoma. Either get with it or get on with it. Who do you guys think he was talking about there, huh? If you had to wager a guess here, you think it was maybe that guy? You think it was maybe him? A lot of speculation that it was Lincoln Riley. Joe Castiglione, already a legend in my book, in your book, in OU fans' book. Done a lot of great things. Maybe he gets a statue someday. He probably deserves it. That single quote is one of the favorite things to me that he's ever done. That was amazing. God, SEC Day was awesome. I hope a lot of you got to experience that yesterday. Maybe you did the glow run, the 5K on Sunday night, but it was fun for sure. Exciting times, and it's going to change a lot, not only in Norman, but across the metro area as well. And dang, we're 54 minutes in. 54 minutes in. Okay. I am about to get out of here. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, appreciate you guys. Have some content on the 4th. Have some content throughout the week. But as always, appreciate you. Talk to you later in the week.